everybody, how you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Uncle Jeremy.
I'm Matt.
I'm Kimberly.
I'm Kelly.
And we're some of the Veggie Boys. And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. If you're new here, please consider subscribing because we can grow a lot of stuff on the farm, but one thing we can't grow is this channel without your help. Welcome back, everyone. It's so nice to see you. At this moment, we are finishing off morning chores. The last thing we had to do was get the eggs collected, and we are now finished. Altogether, the animals look great. They are all healthy. They've been eating very well, and the chickens, they've been producing them eggs. Here on the farm, we had just gone through one of the busiest times of the year for us. I won't say it's the busiest, but it sure felt like it. This past weekend made sure that we had all hands on deck, and I did something a little special. I actually filmed it for you guys. So I'd like to share that with you. We've got a special day on our hands here. The farm market has been booming today. Now, because it's one of the busiest days for us, it's all hands on deck. So we've got a lot of family members with us here today. So that is making everything a lot easier. We've got my cousins, my uncles, my brothers, their wives are all here. So it's nice. It's nice to have a big group helping us get all this accomplished. Our jobs today is basically keeping everything filled up and helping as many customers as possible. We've already brought up a few wagon loads of flowers to sell, and we've been helping tons of people with vegetable plants and just giving people ideas as to what they're gonna do with their flowers this year and their gardens. So is it as busy as you thought it was going to be today, boys?
I think it's fairly busy.
It's kind of busy. I got pumpkin seeds from a viewer.
Ooh,
look at that. We're not eating them. We're not eating them.
They're 1,400-pound pumpkins, man.
Yeah.
Where are we going to plant them?
I don't know.
We need to put
Where
them
should we
in
plant our
some good
1,400-pound
ground
pumpkins?
where we can water them very well.
Okay. We'll get some large pumpkins. Yeah. A viewer just showed up, and then he gave me these pumpkin seeds. He's got his pumpkin seeds in here, a buddy's pumpkin seeds, almost 1,500-pound pumpkin.
Are we gonna eat the pumpkin?
No, man. You're trying to eat everything.
I got down here.
It's a holiday weekend, and when holiday weekends show up, we get a lot of viewers that end up coming to the farm market. We've had a few families from Virginia, we've had a few families from New York. We've also had a lot of people locally, or I should say within like 2 hours, show up. It's pretty neat when some of the viewers show up. They're just here looking for flowers. They're looking to see what we have going on. But it's cool to see everybody, and occasionally they bring me gifts. A lot of times they bring me gifts for Callie or the babies or my wife, but today they brought me pumpkin seeds. That's exciting. I think Dad is more excited than I am though. So we're gonna definitely have to see how these grow. There's the milkman. Now, it's been pretty crazy. We've been doing some walking around, and as you can see, there's a lot of customers here. Parking lot's full. We got customers everywhere. Greenhouses are full of people. This is what we like to see. On a day like this one, when we can move as much stuff as possible, it makes it a lot easier on everybody. The past couple years, weather has been nice on Mother's Day weekend. This year, weather is nice today, but tomorrow it's not gonna be nice. It's gonna be raining. Thankfully, we've been able to move a lot of stuff. Now, isn't that something? Wasn't it a busy weekend?
Very busy.
Oh, we were running all over the place. There was flowers going everywhere, but we survived. Barely. No, I'm kidding. We survived. It was a fun time. There are many times where I get asked, how busy does it really get around flower time? And that's a good example of it. It's been like that in the days leading up to when that was filmed. And since then, it's also been busy. But it won't stay like that because eventually we will run out. Eventually. Gotta love it when the fertilizer gets stuck. We've got Dad all loaded up and he is now on his way. Yesterday, the boys were working up some ground for something special that we've got going on. Now, because of how busy we've been, we don't know if we're gonna get to it today, but we'd like to get to laying mulch so that we can start planting our pickling cucumbers, regular cucumbers, and zucchini. Not only do we need to lay down some mulch for that, but we are getting closer to the time when we're gonna have to plant our tomatoes and our peppers. We don't want to be slacking or even just pushing that off, because when the time comes, we want to be ready to go. And we're basically in the early stages of getting all that done, so that is a good sign. Yesterday, when working the ground, the boys also picked all the rocks out of it, or to the best of their ability with the rock picker. So that was nice to see. I've heard they got a lot, but I think we kind of all expected that. So the next part of getting ready to lay down all the mulch is getting some fertilizer spread, which is what Dad's up to right now. Since Dad is out spreading the fertilizer now, I asked him if there was anything he wanted me to do, and he said it would be really nice if I went down and watered everything in the greenhouses. So that's what I'm gonna work on. When we're watering greenhouses, the number one thing we're looking for is dry spots, and the best spot to look is anywhere that the air would be touching the tray. So these plants in the middle, they don't need as much water, but everything on the edges, we gotta watch for. So I'm focusing on the edges a little bit more, just so we don't have to deal with dry out. All right, just got all of the greenhouses watered. Now we need to run off and find Dad. I think he got hooked up to the mulch layer, but I'm not sure. I saw him fiddling over here with something with the tractor, so we just gotta look for him now. Dad and Daniel were over here working on the mulch layer. They just got everything set up and ready to go. So we're gonna hop in the side-by-side and head on back. You guys wanna see something cool? Check out this mountain of rocks. Oh yeah! Can you believe that was all in our fields? I could. Now it's no longer in the field. We're gonna use it for fill or for something else, but that is a lot of rock. So in this little section, we're gonna have a lot going on. Right behind me, we have our newest planting of peas that is starting to come up. We've got our older planting of peas that is looking really good. Right across the road that we have here, we have our cole crops. Down a little bit further, we have our sweet corn and then our potatoes. And there just happens to be a drone in the air. But that's not my drone, it's Joel's drone. So far, everything is looking like it's working correctly. We have our mulch layer going out through the field. It's laying down a nice bed of mulch, and our discs are throwing soil onto each side of the mulch so that it doesn't blow away on us. Now, what's nice about this mulch that we're laying down, much like the clear mulch that we used for sweet corn, the main ingredient is cornstarch, which makes it highly biodegradable. Within 2 to 3 years, it's almost non-existent in the soil, which is something that we appreciate. And the fact that it's highly biodegradable is one of the reasons why we enjoy using it. Now, there is a big difference between this and the clear stuff, and that's the color. Now, the reason why we're going with a black mulch is because that absorbs heat and it helps to heat up the bed. When you transplant earlier on in the year, the soil temperature is much colder than what they're experiencing in their plugs. So when you transplant your new starts into the soil, it can actually send the plants into shock. And it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for the plants to really push out of that. But with this mulch that we're laying down, the color absorbing the heat, it helps shorten that time period. Plants always experience shock when you transplant them, but as long as we can mitigate it, it's gonna be nice. So the machine does a really nice job at making the bed, forming it, and then pushing the soil onto the sides. We eventually will come through with a specialized transplanter and we'll be able to transplant in this. Now, for those that are curious, how is all of this going to get water? We are running a drip irrigator underneath the soil. It's a piece of plastic with tiny holes in it. We can hook our irrigation up to it and water all of this at the same time. I will say, as I'm standing here looking at this soil, I do not see near as many rocks as I normally did. If it wasn't obvious, that huge pile really made an impact on what we had here in the field. I do see a little bit of the leftover mulch from last year, but that's okay. That's about as much as we like to see. If it was more than that, then we'd be a little concerned, but nope, that'll be gone by next year. The fact of the matter is, the rocks being out of the field is making things run a lot smoother. When you're laying this mulch, when you hit rocks, it can bounce the machine side to side, and it can mess up the bed. But from what I've seen, the beds look great. We've made quite a bit of progress. We've gotten 10 rows of mulch laid down. We've got a road between 6 rows, and that's just, it's easier on us when we're harvesting. We don't have to carry things this far. Like I said, it is lunchtime, so we're gonna head back and eat, but we've got our mulch layer all ready to go. So once we get back, we can just get started. What are we having? We're having grilled cheese and tomato soup for lunch. Big bonus, big bonus. Once we got finished off with lunch, Joel and I loaded up some stuff onto the wagon, and we brought the 4-wheeler out here with Dad. Daniel was helping us this morning, but he needed to move some plants around for Aunt Rhonda, and Joel was no longer running equipment, so he said, no problem, I'll come with you guys. So we still have 2 people out here, which makes this job a lot easier. Well, everyone, we're back to what we were doing earlier. We did put a new roll on, so we won't have to worry about changing our mulch out for a while, which is nice because that saves us a lot of time having to stop out in the middle, bring everything to the piece of equipment. If we did it right here at the beginning, oh, easy peasy. So Dad's just gonna continue going back and forth, and I'm gonna be on this end and Joel's gonna be on the other end. When you're looking at this piece of equipment and this job that we're doing, it doesn't look too complicated, and that's because when you have the machine set up correctly, it's not. Once you have the mulch running through the correct pulleys, it almost kind of lays itself. However, there's a few things we really need to keep a watch out for to make sure that things continue to run smoothly. Probably the #1 thing is just making that we have optimal soil conditions. Thankfully, Joel went through and worked up this soil right before we started today, and that makes things a lot easier. Another thing that we've done, which doesn't get talked about enough, is moving our drip irrigation to either the left, middle, or right side of the mulch. Now, it all depends on what you're planting. If you're using a single wheel on the transplanter, then you're gonna wanna go straight up the center. If you're using a double wheel, well, then you're gonna have 2. So when you lay your drip line, you wanna make sure that you're not gonna puncture it with the water wheel transplanter. For these rows that we have here, it's very likely that we're gonna be putting in 1 single row of plants. So we're gonna want to have our drip line either on the right side or the left side. And I believe it's right here is where the drip line is. So we're gonna be planting on this side so that we don't poke holes in it. Now, when we're transplanting things like peppers, we will go through and do 2 rows. We will have to move our drip line to the center of the mulch. That way we won't puncture it later on. That's one big thing we have to worry about that we don't usually talk about when we're laying mulch, but it's something we're always thinking about. We don't want that line to move to a section where there's a chance that it could get holes in it. Just a little update, we just finished up our 24th row of mulch. The tractor has been working great, our implement has been doing its job, and the winds haven't picked up too much. Sometimes when the wind picks up, that can give us some trouble. Things are looking good. No problems at all, and if we can get this all finished today, oh, then I might call it a good day. We just ran out of mulch on one of the last rows, so I gotta bring the wagon out to the middle part of the field. And if you were curious how we put a new roll of mulch on the machine, there you go. And that is gonna finish it off for the day. 30 rows of mulch, woohoo! We had a goal and we accomplished that goal today. I think everybody is happy about it.
You know what? The first 7 rows are gonna be the nicest.
And why is that?
I laid them.
I was here too.
I laid them.
Oh yeah, look at it all. Look at all them rocks. That big old pile. That's what we call a good time. We've got a lot of planting on our hands in the near future. Isn't it exciting? I'm excited. So once we got the farm market all closed up, I made my way home and I got started on dinner. At this moment, Lauren is feeding both babies and she's taking care of Callie. So she's a busy woman and the least I can do to help her is get some dinner going. So we are having chicken fajitas, but I don't have tortillas. So it's just like chicken fajitas mix without the tortilla. Am I making sense here? It's chicken and vegetables. It's gonna be delicious. Hi Lily, hi Ronnie. So cute, they're playing with their cows. So cute. Ah, what are you doing? We getting a smile out of Ronnie? Oh, he looks like he's frightened. He's like, what is that? Alrighty everyone, we are now getting ready to sit down and eat dinner. I am starving. Callie and Lauren are starving, so we wanna eat. And since we're getting ready to eat, that's probably where we're gonna end the video today. Just a reminder, if you have not already, don't forget to like the video and subscribing. We're trying to hit 200K subscribers, and we are so close. I am so thankful for every one of you. I appreciate everything you've done. And yeah, it's been a long day. So this is where we're gonna end it today. Have a good day. Bye-bye.